now they're going mad, and hopefully, no, now they're going to get into my shoes, so I got to move quickly. They are called Pugnacious Ants, and quite aptly named, as you saw there. As soon as you walk near them, they swarm over and they bite, and the bite's actually quite sore, and that's where they get their name from. But I said the most interesting thing is the thing that eats them. In the Sabi Sands and in the low veld of South Africa, about 98% of a pangolin's diet is made up of pugnacious ants. And so where you find lots of pugnacious ants, there's always a good chance you'll find a pangolin. And I'll probably put my foot in it now. Everyone's going to ask me to go find a pangolin. They are quite rare to find, but the Sabi Sands does have them, and hopefully we get lucky. You never know when we might stumble across one. On Twitter, who got that tree correct? Ophira, sorry, who got that tree correct? It is a tree wisteria. I think the reference to the Desperate Housewives made it a little bit too easy. I'm gonna have to find another one now. There's another pansy in the road. Looked like a pansy. Let's have a quick look now. Turn yourself to the side, please. Maybe I can get a photograph of it that we can use. Oh, it's just not showing us the spots. Oh, maybe I was wrong. Maybe it's not a pansy. No, it is a pansy. Okay, so if you guys look very carefully, you can see that very nice purple spot on the pansy there. So I'm just finding the picture of it quickly in the book. Oh, is he gone? Oh. So that one was a blue pansy, and sometimes also called a black pansy. And it is that one there. Genomia onoma. Oof. So, very pretty butterfly. Good afternoon, Christina from France. Christina would like to know the life cycle of that butterfly and how long it'll live for. As I said, my butterflies are a bit rusty, so I'm just going to have to shoot to the book here quickly. 72, if I remember correctly. Yes. Yeah. Black or blue pansies name. Day-to-day butterflies. Well, so we're going to keep moving, and there's a lot of information in these books, so why don't you guys see if you can find out for me what is the lifespan of a blue pansy. Its Latin name is Genomnia onoma, right? Not onoma, ononen. Yellow-billed hornbill. You see his gapes open there. If we look quite carefully, I'm trying to see underneath his throat. No, he's not doing that. His gapes just open. Looking for lots of bugs. They'll also be quite happy. The rain has increased the insects again, so they've got quite a bit of food in terms of larvae and stuff that's hatching, and frogs, which they do eat as well, which will be out and about after the wet weather. And he's cleaning his beak. It's a yellow-billed hornbill. Well, I'm sure most of you guys will probably know it better as Zazu, which was from The Lion King. That character was based on a yellow-billed hornbill. Nice cool breeze that's just picked up, quite refreshing. Thanks very much, Nicole, on Twitter, who says that khaki boss and wild mint can be used as fly repellents. Unfortunately, khaki boss we don't really get here, and I have not seen any lipia, which is the wild mint or bushman's fever tea, that I haven't seen any growing on Juma Parafusa. And then Vim from Canada recommended catnip. Vim, I've never seen catnip. I don't think we get it in Africa. I'm not 100% sure on that. But I'm just going to warn you guys ahead. We're on a road where we're going to drop down next to a drainage line. For a minute or two, we might experience a bit of a break-up in signal. But don't worry, I will try and move through that area as quickly as possible. can you focus on the road here quickly for me, please?
No. Here's the way.
There. Or here, you can see where there's a very distinct drag down the road. Let's come out a little bit. Bit more. Yeah, perfect. So you can see it almost looks like someone's brushed or dragged something down the road here. And this is just to follow up on that carcass you guys saw with Mark yesterday at the hyena den. I found the tracks of those hyenas dragging that carcass literally from our northern boundary all the way to the hyena den. And this is the same drag from yesterday that's going back to the hyena den. I got a little bit excited when I first saw it. I was like, ooh, drag marks, maybe there's a leopard kill. And then I was like, no, it was the hyena yesterday. And you can, so it's very distinct. You can see how it's almost swept the road while dragging that impala carcass. Looking for any signs of elephants leading up to the dam. Unfortunately, none yet. Quite warm, and because it's so warm, you're going to find a lot of animals that are still going to be resting in the shade, and they'll start moving out as the afternoon progresses and it gets a bit cooler. Just hang on, guys, sorry. Oh, I think you on their way to the dam. We just predicted. Didn't see them. They just popped out from behind the guarri bush. I'm trying to see whether they got wet feet in the wet trunk yet. Doesn't look like it. So hopefully, what I'm doing is moving back, giving them space to walk through in front of me to the dam. How interesting! It's another female with an inverted tusk, but it's not the one we have been seeing quite a few times. She almost looks like she has a third tusk growing. She does. She's got 3 tusks. She's got 2 tusks on the one side, and I've only seen that a couple of times before. But we'll try and have a better look when she gets out into the open. I just wanted to move back and let the elephants have right of passage to the water. And the last little boy coming through. Off you go, nonsense. But so on her right-hand side, it looks like she's got 3 tusks. It doesn't look like a split. That does happen from time to time. I've seen it 3 or 4 times before. an elephant that's got 3 tusks. I think there's even recorded cases of really strange things like 4 or 5 tusks. She's still a little bit nervous, so I'm gonna actually wait for them to pass through. I'm not going to pressurize the situation, and we don't need to. So on that inverted tusk on the other side, there looks like there's a small third tusk as well. Sometimes it's genetics, sometimes it could be from an injury that sustained when they were young. But in the meantime, we've got an answer. Chris from South Africa, thank you very much, is answering about the butterfly lifespan. For that particular species of butterfly, there isn't a recorded lifespan or a known lifespan just yet. Thank you very much, Chris from South Africa. Now we got buffalo and some hippos, and of course the ellies. I'm just going to move around. You can see she's, just from her body language, she's a bit nervous, so I'm going to give them some space while they drink. I think we're actually going to try shoot around to the other side of the dam, and hopefully they relax and we can try get a better look at that, what could possibly be a third tusk. I'll just have a quick look from up here. Now the light is a little bit bad, it's very harsh. So the reason I said she was a little bit nervous and whatnot, she lifted her ears. We already bumped her by accident at a little bit closer than I would have liked, and then she would have liked. So we backed off and let her pass. And then as we tried to move around, I was going to try to get to the water before her. She raised her head, lifted her ears, and she was just letting me know that, listen, I'm not 100% sure of you yet. I don't quite trust you. So just give me a little bit of space. So that's what I've done. Don't you love it when a plan comes together?
Yeah.
Looking for elephants at Buffelshoek Dam, and here they are. We try to zoom a little bit more in on that tusk there, just to have a quick look. Well, we are still quite far away. Oh, and you can see, I don't know if you guys see what I'm talking about there. I'm trying to see whether it's a split or it's actually, but when I first saw it, it looked like it was another little tusk growing out that was not connected to that inverse tusk. I'm just going to try and move around to the other side of the dam. We get the sunlight behind us, so we'll be able to have a closer look. But you can see the body language as we're leaving there. They've already calmed down quite a bit, so that's nice. And as long as we give them enough space to make them feel comfortable, we don't want to interfere. And also, we'd rather them come into our space than us force our way into their space. You can see the light's a bit better for us to see now. We've still given her lots of space, so she's very comfortable. She didn't really react at all. And what I'm hoping is that she'll walk towards us when she's finished drinking. And that's her choosing to come close to us rather than us forcing by going closer to her. Also, we'll try to get a close-up snap with my camera of that tusk. Just so we can have a look on the camera maybe. Good afternoon, Brent from WildEarth here. I left quarantined my daughter Ingwe lying up in a sparkthorn thicket to the south of Gowrie Dam, or southwest of Gowrie Dam, and I'm with a small breeding herd of elephants at Buffelshoek Dam. And other than that, no other updates apart from Duggar Boys at both Waffles Hook and Gary Dam. So I'm going to try and get it. It's difficult, she's turned her back to us now. But we will try and get a good shot of that tusk. Guys, you know what? Oh no, she's going to go the other way. But you can see how she's moving now. She's far more relaxed. Can do. Keeping us on our toes. This Ellie. Maybe she might. No. Sorry guys, I'm just trying to think ahead to where we can get into the best possible position to view that without annoying her. Because we're here to watch animals in their natural environment and not to harass. Even if it means we don't get the best second look at that possible third tusk, I'd rather not have the best look at that and not harass the animal. I'll try to get a photograph of that when she turns her head. I wonder what they're smelling. It's quite possible because there's only 3 of them that they've been separated from a larger group, and you can see they're smelling maybe another herd of elephants past there. I didn't have a look at the tracks when I was there. But they definitely, all 3 elephants are smelling the ground around there. It was also possible something like a lion or leopard was there and they're just testing her. I'm just going to move forward a little bit. Murphy's Law, as she turns the side we want to have a look at to us, she goes behind a tree. So what I'm trying to see now, and it's going to be better from this angle, is if that is a split or it is actually a third tusk. But just from what I'm seeing there now, it does look like it's not a split, but actually a third tusk. So that's good afternoon, Grace. Thanks for your email, Grace. Grace would like to know how old the youngsters are here and at what age do they become independent. Well, the first young one there is he's probably just all between a year and a half. The young bull at the back is probably guessing three or so years old. And The females will sometimes stay with their natal herd for their whole lives, or branch off to form their own herds at some stage. And when you get big congregations of elephants, like 100 or so together, or even 50 or 60, you quite find often that most of the matriarchs related sisters, aunties, cousins. As he's being a proper little boy, the little boys very often like to turn around and shake their heads at the vehicles. But with elephant bulls, they sort of get pushed out by the females, the older females in the herd, when they get to about 14 or 15, and their testosterone levels make them quite loud and boisterous, and quite often they just affect the sort of ongoings of the herd. And they said the elephant cows can spend their whole lives with their natal herd. He's showing off for us now. So that's completely fine while he does it. It's when, if a female was doing that, I'd move away. I wouldn't stay like I am now if it was an adult cow. But it's just a little boy, and you can see he's showing off. He's throwing around a piece of round leaf teak, saying, "Look how big and tough and scary I am." Like most little boys. Still throwing around the branch. But you know, as soon as he sees Mom's a bit further away, he sort of scuttles off. Okay, I can't get too far from Mom, because if I actually get into trouble, Mom's got to come help me. We'll try to stay with them, but only viewing them from the road. I'm not going to try follow them off into this thick bush. You can see the female would probably not like that very much. Might be able to get a view of them from the other side of this little drainage line. The little one's wandered off ahead of Mom. They're using their trunk to smell us, determine what we are and whether we're a threat or not. No, we're not that interesting. Yeah, the other two feeding quite close by, but we can't see them very clearly, just see shapes moving. Let me just move forward a half a meter for you there, Brian. There's a gap through the trees there. So more playing and practicing with its trunk than actually eating. So definitely still be nursing. So you can see it's more going through the motions of eating than eating, and it's basically training the muscles of its trunk. Good afternoon, Ashley from the UK. Ashley would like to know how many muscles are in an elephant's trunk, and if I remember correctly, I think it's around 800 or 900, but I'm not 100% sure. You guys will have to double check for me, and you can do that and send your replies to questions at wildearth.tv or use the hashtag Safari Live on Twitter. See, now that we've let her come close to us, she's far a better view of that funny tusk. So she's probably about 6 or 7 meters in front of the vehicle, but she's not showing any aggressive body language. She's come close to us, we haven't gone close to her. So nice to just sit quietly for a while and listen to the elephants feeding. So I'm just going to keep quiet for a minute or two. They are very special animals. Good afternoon, Sandy from Virginia. Welcome on Drive with us this afternoon. Sandy would like to know, would that inverted tusk ever become a problem as it keeps growing? It's possible, Sandy, and especially with having that what looks to be a third tusk. I'll have a look at my camera when we're not with these guys anymore. We can have a bit of a closer look. It could actually become a problem. Greater chance for infection as well. Also, possibly injuring herself because it's not really normal, and it does look like it's quite a sharp one as well. What I'm going to do is I'm going to move ahead of them again. I think I know where she might pop out, hopefully. I'm just going to keep moving parallel as they walk and feed, and we'll stop again up ahead and let her walk up to us rather than us walking or driving up to her. Nice big elephant park here. I think she's not far that she's going to come through there, so I'm just going to turn around quickly. her there. I'm just trying to position myself so I don't make it feel like I'm blocking off the path she wants to use. So she's not far away now, she's probably about 50 meters coming through the bush. Thank you very much, Ellen from Illinois. She's researched elephant trunk muscles, and she said an average elephant has 40,000, so I was a bit off there. But a large elephant can have as many as 150,000. Thank you very much, Ellen from Illinois. Mercy's law. There are two paths and goes behind us. Well, she might still come out in front of us. Hello, little man. Yeah, we're going to get a good chance to zoom in on that tusk there now. She goes, she's going to go too far behind us, I think. So there we can see it a little bit clearer. She might turn. There. So you see, it doesn't look like it's a split. It actually looks like it's a separate. Nice camera work, Brian. Thank you. A separate tusk that's growing out of there. Good afternoon, Sandy from Florida. Sandy would like to know whether she would be able to use a tree to break the tusk off herself to get rid of it if it's an irritation. Sandy, I don't think she would do that. She would run the risk of actually hurting herself and maybe hurting the nerves inside the tusk. So I think if the tusk broke off, it wouldn't be on purpose. It would be by accident while using it. You might have a little show off again from the little boy. Oh, he swung a stick around for a little bit. More interested in eating. I love young elephant balls. Don't shake my head at you just because. Just I'll let you know I'm watching you. And the funniest thing about him is if I actually move the car towards him, he would completely panic and run back to his mom. Good afternoon, Larry in Florida. Larry would like to know, on average, how long does it take for a baby Ellie to learn how to use its trunk, or does it depend on the individual? Well, Larry, would say probably by about 2 years most elephants have complete full use of their trunks. And when exactly they have full use before that 2 year period, I'm not 100% sure. And on the individual, but I'm not 100% sure. I was talking. What was the update with that Nkuma Pride? Copy. Sorry, I just didn't give the updates earlier. Quarantine, my daughter Ingwe I left lying up at about 3:20 in a spikethorn thicket to the southwest of Vuyatela Dam. And there's a small Trambian Lovo now, mobile north on Buffelshoek East, heading towards the Buffelshoek boundary. The Nyama is Pelile. I think it fell down and Nisi took it. I think he's now just negative. In those clearings between Twin Dams and Inga's Kaya, there's some spikethorn gymnosporia thickets, and he was lying inside one of those thickets, visual 1 out of 5. FM, I will go check later when it's a bit cooler. There we go. There she comes. Another chance to zoom in on that. You can see there's a gap between them. So I do think it is actually a third tusk. I don't know. I think I read somewhere. I'm not 100%. So said you guys can double check for me. That I read. I don't know why the number 7 or 8. 7 or 8 tusks. I know there's an extinct elephant or pachyderm species that did have multiple tusks. I think those only had 4 or 6. But it does happen with elephants that they do have anomalies like having 3 tusks. Now, it's not that common, but I wouldn't say it's completely out of the ordinary. But maybe if you guys can research on sort of African savanna elephants, and see if you can find any records of an elephant with multiple or more than 2 tusks. And you can send what you find to on email, questions@wildearth.tv, or if you're on Twitter, just use the hashtag #SafariLive. Good afternoon, Mim from Canada. Mim wants to know, do elephants have hair on their tails from birth? She's noticed that the younger elephants don't have any hair on their tails. They do, Mim. It's quite a lot more fine, and they do have hair from birth. They actually have more hair when they were born than when they are older. And they lose a lot of that soft baby hair in the first couple of weeks after being born. And then the hair becomes quite thick and coarse. As you can see, the elephants are now going away from the road into quite a thick patch of bush. So, as I said, we're not going to follow and smash around. It might disturb them quite a bit. So, we'll leave them be and go see what else we can find. And yeah, we can have a look quickly on the screen when you get it last minute with the eddies. Before they disappear. So if we have a look here quickly, and I see where's the best spot for me to put it by. So there we go. We can see that sort of third tusk, very small, popping out. I'll have a look. It's very difficult to see on a small screen like this, and you can see my friends, the flies. They're also coming to have a look. But we will try have a look on when I get home on the computer, and I will post a photo of it so you guys can have a look at that. And just don't forget, guys, even though we're leaving the elephants, please send me some information about elephants with multiple tusks, though, and even more specific, elephants with multiple tusks in the Kruger. I know they have been recorded before.